Hello, viewers of Jonathan George Villaria's World Emporium. I'm Jonathan George Villaria. I'm excited to share with the Hurricane experience our knowledge of the world through the English language. Our videos cover a range of topics such as literature, history, science, and more to provide you with a well-rounded learning experience. Regardless of whether you are a beginner or an experienced learner, our expert curious videos offer captivating, enlightening content to help you enhance your language proficiency. Today, I would like to talk about Adolf Hitler, the man who ignited the outbreak of World War II in 1889. Hitler was born in Austria before moving to Germany in 1913. Hitler suffered from irritable bowel syndrome and transitioned to a vegetarian diet. During his childhood, Hitler was a diligent and obedient student at the age of 19. After the early death of his parents, Hitler fell into poverty and lived in humble shelters in Vienna. He had to take various jobs such as snow shoveling, moving luggage as train stations, and even seeking work as a freelance artist. During this period, Adolf Hitler underwent many life experiences and study works on German nationalism, laying the foundation for his political ideology. Hitler was born into a family with a Catholic mother and a father who opposed the church. However, Adolf Hitler's religious views are often seen as contradictory and complex. He aimed to undermine Catholic but also admire Protestant, believing that the religion of Japan and Islam would be more suitable for Germans. In 1914, when World War I erupted, Hitler voluntarily joined the military. Due to his bravery, he received accolades and was awarded the Iron Cross. This appearance reinforced his patriotism. The surrender of the German Empire in 1918 was a psychological shock to Hitler. The Treaty of Versailles imposed a series of harsh conditions on Germany, including territorial losses and military limitations. This stirred anger among many Germans and was exploited by Hitler as the main political motivations for his goals. He viewed this treaty as humiliation and a burden on Germany. After World War I, he continued to serve in the military, being appointed as an intelligence agent in a reconnaissance unit and joining the German Workers' Party. At a party meeting, he demonstrated his oratory skills and deeply impressed Anton Drexler, the party's chairman. Hitler voiced his conviction that Germany's supreme political task was to completely eradicate the Jewish people from humanity. In 1921, Hitler was elected as a party chairman. In 1924, Hitler used his charismatic oratory and speech writing talent to attract thousands of supporters. Hitler had a profound understanding of crowd psychology, so in his speeches, he always brought up issues like extreme nationalism, blaming Jews for economic manipulation, opposing the Treaty of Versailles, and combating communism. In 1933, Hitler attempted to carry out the Beer-Hall-Putsch, but was unsuccessful. He was overthrown by political rivals and the military. Hitler later tested his leadership abilities by organizing a march, but it ultimately failed, leading to his arrest and a 5-year prison sentence. After his release from prison, Hitler focused on rebuilding Nazi Party and gaining public support through the economic crisis of 1929 in the United States. He promised to improve the economic situation and create jobs for the German people, which helped the Nazi Party gain support and become a significant force in German politics. In 1933, he was appointed as the Chancellor of Germany and transformed the Weimar Republic into Nazi Germany, a totalitarian regime. Under Hitler's leadership, the German economy recovered, and the restrictions of the Treaty of Versailles were lifted, with territorial expansion taking place. Hitler and Nazi Party continued to implement measures to control crucial aspects of society, including education, media, and the economy, which temporarily improved the economic situation in Germany. However, the oppression of Jews and other minority groups also became more ruthless and brutal. Hitler also implemented economic policy to create employment and domestic economic growth. Using the pretext of the Reichstag fire, the Nazi Party restricted basic civil rights such as freedom of assembly, freedom of the press, and confidentiality of postal and telegraphic communications. The German Reichstag passed the Enabling Act, which effectively disabled the Reichstag's control and established Hitler's dictatorship. Hitler viewed the government structure as a pyramid, with himself as a supreme leader at the top. Party positions were not determined through elections, but rather by appointments made by higher-ranking officials. These individuals were required to obey Hitler's orders and will, in all circumstances. In this way, Hitler fostered suspicious competition and infighting among lower ranks to consolidate and maximize his own power. After 1938, Hitler's cabinet never convened, and he did not encourage ministers to meet separately. Hitler often issued orders verbally rather than in writing. Hitler implemented policies of rearmament and economic preparation for war through measures such as the mass abuse, currency printing, and confiscation of assets from enemy groups, including Jews. Under Hitler's economic policies, unemployment rates in Germany significantly decreased, infrastructure improved, and the Summer Olympics were organized. The remilitarization of the Rhineland took place. Hitler built international alliances, including a partnership with Italy under the leadership of Benito Mussolini, signed an anti-communist pact with Japan. These economic and diplomatic measures marked Germany's increased power and preparation for invasions into neighboring regions, ultimately leading to the outbreak of World War II. In 1939, Hitler proceeded to invade Czechoslovakia and Poland, prompting international opposition. This led to Britain and France declaring war on Germany, igniting World War II in Europe, and resulting in the Holocaust, in which millions of Jews and others perished. Hitler signed a pact with the Soviet Union, Germany's longtime rival, to partition and annex Poland. Subsequently, Hitler established the Berlin-Rome-Tokyo axis of military alliance of Germany, Italy, Japan, with the shared goal of expanding their dominance worldwide. World War II unfolded on multiple fronts, including the Eastern Front, Western Front, and the Asia-Pacific theater. During this time, Germany expanded its territory through invasions and conquered several European countries, including France, the Netherlands, Norway, Belgium, Denmark, Poland, and many others. Germany faced its remaining formidable adversaries, Britain on the Western Front and the Soviet Union on the Eastern Front. In 1941, the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor forced Germany to declare war on the United States. Simultaneously, Hitler initiated Operation Barbarossa to invade the Soviet Union. From this point onwards, Hitler personally directed the war effort against the Soviet Union. While military generals maintained a certain degree of autonomy in the war against Britain and the United States. Hitler's orders became increasingly detached from reality as the war situation deteriorated. His slow decision-making or orders to hold unfavorable positions hindered Germany's defensive strategy. The unexpected collaboration between the Soviet Union and the Allied forces led to a turning point in the Battle of Stalingrad in 1943, resulting in a significant German defeat. Taking advantage of this victory, they launched Operation Overlord and began advancing towards Germany. In 1942, Germany faced setbacks in North Africa and the Middle East. By 1942, by 1944, Germany suffered defeats in the Black Sea region and lost control of crucial natural resources. In the final days of the war, Hitler refused to negotiate for peace and believed that Germany's destruction was a more fitting outcome than surrender. The war ended in 1945 with the collapse of Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler's suicide, the conclusion of the global conflict and horrific consequences, with millions of lives lost. Adolf Hitler's left behind dark legacies in human history, most notably the Holocaust. Hitler's policies of genocide involved the construction of concentration and extermination camps. Those held in concentration camps, such as Auschwitz, Survivor, Treblinka, and Bergen-Belsen, often endured torture and were killed through methods such as gas chambers, shooting, starvation, and other brutal means. Beyond the Jewish population, the Holocaust also inflicted death and suffering on various other groups, including Romani people, LGBTQ individuals, disabled individuals, and those who opposed the Nazi regime. The total number of casualties in this genocide exceeded 11 million people, with over 6 million being Jewish. The Holocaust stands as one of the darkest events in history, profoundly influences the discourse on human rights and prompting transformations in views on racial discrimination. Hitler's legacy serves as a profound warning about the dangers of supremacy and dictatorship, leading to establishment of international systems and rules to prevent a recurrence of civil atrocity in the future. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Your questions, comments, and feedback are always welcome and appreciated, so please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please do hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting and enlightening content. By hitting the notification bell, you'll be sure to never miss any very exciting and thought-provoking episodes. Don't forget to share our channel with your friends and family who may also find our content beneficial. We are committed to providing you with high quality, well-researched and engaging content that will help you improve your English language skills and expand your knowledge. And I look forward to sharing more insightful and inspiring things with you in the near future.